back with another cool astrology video and, excuse me, talking about the composite sun in the second house. So if you don't know what a composite chart is, I have a video explaining the difference between synastry and composite charts. You might want to watch that. And I have a separate video talking about what the composite sun specifically is. So it's really the, and go back and watch that if you don't know much about composite charts, because they're a little bit more of an advanced concept in astrology. So the composite sun is, where the relationship is going. It really, shows the vitality and the energy and the goals and the drive, and how aspects to it and where it's placed really talk about how successful all those things are. How well we feel this relationship is serving our what we're after. So and the sun is not talking about the feelings in the composite chart. It's that's the moon. We'll get to the moon next. So, or maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll get to whatever is not going to bore me. So, this is a very practical position for the sun. So, it tends to be, very much based on acquisition when we have two people coming together here. And, their goals are very much about second house matters. So, very much about achievement, of financial stability. Material gain, making sure that the financial goals of the relationship are met, and that there is a secure financial base in which to proceed from. So this is great for partnerships, great for friends that want to invest with each other, great for business partnerships of all kinds. Hold on, I knew I was going to need my tea. I just have like a serious frog in my throat. It's like a toad. So, financial stability. Making a life that centers around what they value is, really at the heart of it. This is, the house of values. So, whatever it is that they value, this is what they go after as a couple. Typically, we see it having to do with material things or financial things, but we could maybe have two like really spiritually minded people, and maybe they're going after the things of religion, a shared value system. So, it could be, any number of things that they're, going towards, driving towards as a couple. Typically has a lot to do with material, financial things. So, being that this is a very practical position for the sun, now that's good in the sense that, we need to have, a nest that is properly feathered in order to have a good base of operations in which, to proceed from out into the world. There is a downside to this, in that this is not a very personal position for the sun to be in. Over time, this position of the composite sun can lead to really the death of more intimate relating. It can become all about getting a certain amount of money into the bank, retiring at a certain age, acquiring a certain house. So it can become, and depending on what those shared values are, it may not be material things, but 95% of the time it's going to be. So they really need to agree separately about what they value if over time we are going to have a relationship that is mutually satisfying. And you also want to look, to obviously to difficult aspects to the sun, because that's going to tell you a lot about obstacles that are in the way of getting to, the goal of the sun. Because in a composite chart, we come together, for a shared something. We generally don't come together because we don't want to be a team. Now, there are some positions that show that, like when it comes to the 12th house sun, there's a little bit of that going on there. Generally, we come together because we want to, as a couple, achieve something. So it's important to see what it is as individuals they want. If there is a big divide in that, then we can see the relationship with a second house composite sun break down over time, because we see a, you know, divergent attitudes when it comes to what we value. You know, maybe one person is still, you know, working 23 hours a day because we're trying to, you know, acquire material things, or, you know, retire at age 42, and the other person has, you know, started, you know, a more maturing process of seeking depth, or seeking spirituality, seeking answers in some way, or maybe they're, you know, just totally changing in a way that they're not, you know, valuing what the other person is. You have to look at, you know, do they basically value the same thing? Are we starting out on the same page? Generally we are, if we have the sun in the second house. But look at aspects to the sun, look at what these people are after individually, you know, and then, you know, look at, does the composite chart fulfill that need? You know, this is a placement that can become kind of empty of substance over time, because we are, you know, going after things that are not generally, you know, depth oriented. So, but this is a great position for people who are physically attracted. There tends to be a lot of sensuality between these two. The sexuality in the relationship is very much valued. This is something that is considered a real prize between the two people. I mean, this is, you know, something that they both, you know, have invested in, you know, the sex life. And there can be issues of jealousy and possession also, and selfishness when we come to second house sun, and selfishness especially. A lot of times, you know, in the composite chart, the sun represents the male energy, you know, and the moon will represent the female, show what the female is experiencing. So when we have the sun in the second house in a composite chart, we can often see that the male in the relationship has a very selfish energy, very selfish attitude, a very selfish role in the relationship. And this is, you know, composite charts and synastry goes the same for same-sex couples. You would, you know, interpret that as the more dominant or the more masculine partner in the relationship. So astrology is non-judgmental and all-inclusive. So you need to make sure with this position, yes, that number one, what we value is, you know, we're on the same page. Number two, that we're seeking things that are deeper and more connective and more intimate than just, you know, going after things. And number three, that we're, you know, spending enough time nurturing and investing in the sensuality and the sexuality of the relationship, because this is something that really will bond these two people. This is really a shared goal that they have, is good sex. So it's a great position for that. And you need to watch out for, you know, selfishness within the relationship with this position. And so that's my explanation of composite sun in the second house. You can find me on the internet at truthandaspectastrology.com. Yes, I do private consultation, I'm trying to say. I specialize in relationship and intimacy astrology, but I interpret all types of charts under the sun. You can find me on Facebook at Truth and Aspect Astrology. And make sure to check out my partner, Seth Roback. He is right here on YouTube as well. He has many an awesome video. And I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.